This is the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. On this show, PMAC and you provide you front office insight into crafting a championship caliber team for the Chiefs. They are identifying the right pieces to possibly meld together to lead to success this upcoming season.
What it do? This is the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. And we're back with another episode. We are back with another episode. My name is you. That's a letter, not the word. And that guy over there is PMAC. What it do, man?
Nothing much, bro, man. How are you doing today, brother?
Man, I mean, I'm good. I'm really good. Like I was a little worried about the game on Thursday. Not worried to the point where I thought we were going to lose, but there's always that chance. But even though we didn't look 100%, we looked really good on Thursday. So I was happy about that. It actually puts us in a good position to take care of week 2 as well. So
absolutely, man. It was amazing, man. So thank y'all all for joining us today for another spectacular episode of the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. I'm PMAC, and like he said, that's you, not the letter U.
Not the word.
The letter, absolutely. Football is back in full swing, baby. It was a thrilling week 1, bro. And Chiefs fans, NFL world, man, we got you covered for the defending back-to-back champion Chiefs and their wild ending from last Thursday night. For a week 1 game, it gave you playoff vibes, bro. So we will recap in this episode with some of that's news to me, my personal 3 standouts from last Thursday night's game, and other takeaways from last Thursday night's game that could be keys to beating our next opponents in this upcoming AFC showdown, the Bengals.
Rawr.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about with you guys. Yeah.
Well, let's first start off with that. That's news to me.
That's news to me. That's news to me.
That's news to me.
Yes. And with our segment here with That's News to Me, so one of our first big news things that we want to talk about, the Chiefs won their 2024 season opener against the Baltimore Ravens by a score of 27-20.
Yep.
In a close game, the Ravens almost tied the game in the final seconds. They probably could have gone for 2 for the win, but a video review showed that Lamar Jackson's touchdown to Isaiah Likely was invalid by a toe, and the Chiefs secured a thrilling victory. I'm sorry, man. Football's a game of inches, man, and
it is.
Lost by a toe. Lost by a toe. Yes. Remember that line from Little Rascals with Whoopi Goldberg? One by the hair. Yes.
I definitely.
It reminded me of that moment right there too, man. But they got the thrilling victory. Mahomes completed 20 of 28 passes for 291 yards and a touchdown, leading the Chiefs to tie the score at 7-7 with a 5-play, 67-yard touchdown drive in the first quarter of the game. Our guy, rookie receiver Xavier Worthy, scored a 21-yard touchdown on an end-around play, showcasing his 4.21 record-breaking speed. Worthy had a standout performance, man, scoring 2 touchdowns on 3 touches for 68 total yards rushing in his first professional game. And on his first touch was that end-around touchdown. His second touchdown helped the Chiefs take a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. Despite the Ravens' late efforts, the Chiefs emerged victorious after a back-and-forth battle, man. Rashee Rice had an impressive performance, making 7 catches for 103 yards, and including key plays on scoring drives. Defensively, the Chiefs held the Ravens to 1 out of 4 in the red zone and allowed only 13 points after the Ravens scored the opening touchdown drive.
Man, okay. Thursday was not a flawless game. Don't get me wrong. It was not flawless in any shape, form, or fashion. However, and also we got started quick, and we did. But I don't feel like we ended the game offensively like we should have.
I agree, man.
Yeah. But But what you did see was creativity. You saw player personnel.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the guys show up big when they needed to, even though I feel like some of the defense is still getting their sea legs together.
Right.
I feel like the defense is still getting their sea legs. You kind of warming up to the season, which not a big deal. It was, look, again, it wasn't the all around best game, but it's enough to beat the Ravens, and they were salty. They were salty.
Isaiah, likely, sir. That was the way that you reacted to that fan was totally unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable, sir. Just finish the play. That's why Nate Burleson always calls it tiptoe drag swag. Yes. We want to see your feet drag on that green, not that toe touching that white part. So do better next time, buddy.
That's all. Just do better. Just do better. He took over the game, and I feel like the Chiefs allowed that to happen. But I mean, the thing about it is, it's been a long time since we've seen the bend but don't break from Spags, and this was kind of a filling out process. I felt like this was one of those filling out processes of who is going to take over that cornerback spot. Nick Bolton getting his sea legs back because everybody was criticizing him all game long. But he's the one that made the tackle. He saw it coming. He saw likely, and then he took off to the back of the end zone. And had he not gone for the tackle, that ball, that his feet very well could have been in. So, yeah, that was good. That was good.
I mean, man, look, the Ravens lost due to critical mistakes, man. I mean, 7
Absolutely.
penalties, and majority of them, as you mentioned to me, illegal formations. Loads of them. Missed opportunities. And that strip sack caused by Big Chris Jones, the CEO of Sack Nation. I mean, and then Justin Tucker, who decided to do what he did at the AFC Championship game earlier this year, thought it was wise to do the same thing by kicking in our end zone area where majority of our players practice on that end. He thought he was funny. And guess what happened? Karma set in when he missed that crucial field goal. And in the final minutes of the game where Jackson missed a wide open Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers was wide open.
And Zay wanted that too. Zay said this was my revenge. And
this was my revenge for that punch out by Snead, bro.
And you missed it.
Missed him.
You
right.
Missed it. That's what he said. Now, he didn't say that on the field, but you could see in his reaction to getting overthrown, because I don't know where Lamar was throwing that ball to. Where was he throwing it to?
I don't know, man.
It was out the back of the end zone. But anyway, yeah, man, it was a crazy game. Crazy game.
Very crazy game, man. And, you know, then he saw likely who came within a few blades of the grass of putting the Ravens in the position to either tie or win the game and go for 2 for the win. But, you know, I still got to give the man credit. 9 catches, 111 yards and a touchdown, especially when he scored that play on Nick Bolton. And Nick Bolton just tackled him as soon as he made the catch. He wanted to score no touchdown. It's just those little things that always happen. So
absolutely, completely, utterly. So let's move on to the next one.
All right. And this is a shocker that happened before the game. Before the Chiefs kicked off against the Ravens, they signed backup tight end Noah Gray to a 3-year contract extension worth $18 million. That includes $10 million fully guaranteed. Gray is the backup to Kelce and has a career of 63 catches for 640 yards and 4 touchdowns during his time. So fans would ask, why would you extend a guy who most folks say he might not even take Kelce's spot? Here's a reason why. They are extending him due to his versatility on offense and special teams. His reliable hands have given Andy Reid and Mahomes an underrated option in critical situations. He's shown up in those critical situations. He actually had more receiving yards, 6 more receiving yards than Kelce from last Thursday, 37 to Kelce's 31. Since being drafted in 2021, he has been a reliable contributor to Uncle Dave's special teams unit. In 2023, he was on the field 52% of the offensive snaps and 52% of the special teams snaps, making him the only Chiefs player to participate in more than half the snaps for 2 units. What's your thoughts about this extension?
I'm shocked it came at this point. I thought it was gonna come like during the off season. Like I really thought it would. I thought we would end this season and then he would get an extension. But hey, I'm not. Look, the thing about the tight end room is you're always going to need tight ends. And Irv Smith, as much as I wanted it to work, it was never going to work. And then you got our draft pick, who's not quite ready yet, which I can understand that. Hopefully he'll be ready by the second half of the season, and he'll be able to put up some production yards there or production blocks, whatever. But Noah Gray is a contributing part of this whole team. Like, he's very versatile, like you said, and that's exactly what makes him valuable in the eyes of Andy Reid and Dave Toub. The thing about it is, I noticed that when they draft guys for two jobs, not just one. If they can see that you have positional value at one place, but then you can block too, they will do that. Like Justin Reed, being able to kick. That's not something we absolutely want out of our safety, but let's be honest, it helped us out in one game last year. So it's necessary sometimes. It's not ideal, but it works out the way it's supposed to. So
absolutely. And it's the thing, man. Like, Noah is a versatile threat, man. I mean, he can line up in the backfield, the slot, or in line. He's been a productive receiver, known for being an excellent third down target. Probably the most prominent third down play of his career was that crazy play that Mahomes threw to him in 2022 against the Titans.
Yes.
Like a 40-yard pass, and he caught it. I was there when he made that play. The stadium went crazy when Gray made that play, and he's just been that guy. For a guy who's 6'3", 240, he's also a really good blocker. This man has not allowed a sack on Mahomes since he's been drafted by the Chiefs, in a career of 106 career pass blocking snaps. And
one of the things I notice about him is he's very fundamentally sound. Like, he's not flashy in any way, but he's very, very fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I think Andy Reid really enjoys about the guy.
Yeah, I agree. And it's the thing. Gray will not, like I said earlier, he will not challenge Big Yeti, Trav, for the starting spot anytime soon. But he provides the Chiefs with a consistent number 2 tight end. There's a reason why they went after Peyton Hendershot.
Yeah.
Because Irv Smith and Wiley, who led college football last season with the most touchdowns among tight ends with 8, he hasn't established himself not as a starter, but not even a number 2. So he still needs to learn the ropes. And I thought it was great for him and encouraging for him to be the third tight end out there. But I got to give a shout out to Hendershot for getting in Roquan Smith's face. Like he said, as he retweeted the Chiefs Focus page, that's my quarterback. Nobody puts their hands on my quarterback. Right on, man. So
that's what we need. I'm all for it.
Heck yeah, man. But also, I wanted to discuss on top of this, how does this impact the potential deals for linebacker Nick Bolton and right guard Trey Smith? I mean, the Chiefs have signed Bucker, they signed Humphrey, and both Kelce early to begin the offseason, and Gray to new deals, securing their presence for years to come. However, that leaves a question about the futures of Bolton and Smith. I mean, the Chiefs can resume negotiations in any time, but there's no deadline. You know, Bolton and Smith are valuable players, and the Chiefs may agree to new deals during the season. But, you know, most deals are made during the most quieter times so they can avoid distractions.
Especially with the Chiefs, yes.
Yeah. But given the high cost of the guard market after Quinn's Miners from the Broncos got that big deal for a guard, Smith reaching an agreement with the Chiefs may be costly, man. So I think Bolton and Smith may have to wait to see how the Chiefs respond to their demands. So that's all I can say on that. What you think?
I mean, I honestly, if we're going to be honest about it, I think Leo was brought in to literally take possibly take over the position from Nick Bolton just in case they allow him to walk.
Yeah.
Didn't they? Trying to think of names now, but I think Leo was. I think. Hold on, let me rewind. I believe that Tranquil. They didn't expect Tranquil to be as good as he ended up being, which made them give him an extension. Because of course you don't want to lose a guy like Tranquil, and I've been beating the drum for Tranquil since I saw him first play with the Chargers. When I saw him play with against us versus the Chargers, I'm like, why doesn't this dude have a deal with NyQuil or something? Why doesn't
Dude.
like his last name literally means sleep? What are we talking about? This dude is a star, and when we got him, I knew he was gonna get signed to an extension if they wanted to keep him. I
Yeah.
honestly thought he was just gonna flourish here, and then that meant we had to get rid of Willie Gay, because that by the by, Willie Gay had injury concerns with the back, so
Yeah.
and then having Leo Chenal be the guy has been stepping up into his role very well. That Nick Bolton could be the same dude could suffer the same fate as Willie Gay.
Right.
I mean, it's just one of those positions that you can pay for. We can definitely pay for, but if you're gonna pay a linebacker, if you have a linebacker and a guard to pay, and you got the most expensive or the best QB in the world, I think I'm gonna pay my guard to make sure my QB stays upright over the linebacker. I'm not hating on linebacker play. I'm just
No.
you know what it say.
You know, the business, man.
It's the
Nothing
business.
personal. It's business. So
Business.
business. Like TC off of the Wayans brothers.
Yeah.
Man. All right, man. Well, let's move on to our next segment. So, 3 standouts from week 1. The Chiefs secured that victory, but there were 3 players particularly that really impressed me with their standout performances. They played a vital role in the team's thrilling season opener. While there's no I in team or in standouts, these players and the crucial plays that they made were instrumental in the Chiefs' strong performance. So here are the 3 players who, in my opinion, were instrumental in the Chiefs' victory. And let's start out with the Road Worthy. That's my nickname for him. Or you want to call him Professor X, or the Road Runner himself, rookie wide receiver Xavier Worthy had an impressive debut, man. Because we all know during the Chiefs training camp, Worthy was the hot topic of discussion due to his exceptional 4.21 speed and his impressive performances. However, there was some concern about him struggling against press coverage that was shown in a viral practice clip. And we don't have that clip or none of that here, but we got some interesting ones to show y'all here. But it's not unusual for young receivers like Worthy or Rashee Rice to face those type of challenges adjusting to the physicality of NFL cornerbacks. This adjustment could be particularly tough for smaller receivers like Worthy, who is 5'11", 165 pounds, right? Despite that, on opening night, like I mentioned earlier, Worthy caught 2 passes for 47 yards and a touchdown and scored a rushing touchdown on the end around, while Rice pulled in a team-high 7 receptions for 103 yards. And Worthy sent a message through the national spotlight on NBC that he's going to continue to be a problem for opposing defensive backfields going forward.
Let's look at the Worthy touchdown.
That gets you the 15. It wasn't inside the opening. This is the speedy man, Xavier Worthy, the fastest man to the end zone right away. His first touch, a Kansas City touchdown. Oh, man.
Man, that end around was my goodness. That was nice. That was nice. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw it unfolding, and I didn't see him going because everybody was right there. The defense was right there. They were ready to grab him, but he's so fast. He's so fast. Now you see him, now you don't. The magician.
Bro, I mean, only some coaches know how to utilize that type of pure speed to create explosive plays like Big Red, bro. He did that with Deshaun Jackson, Tyreek Hill, and now Worthy. You know?
It's huge.
Yeah, man. But I gotta say this though, like part of that success of getting Worthy going that also opened up things for Rice. It had to do with Big Red and Matt Nagy's strategy, which allowed them to get free releases off the line of scrimmage. I mean, with a speedster like Worthy, who could create openings for his teammates and make a significant impact beyond catching deep balls. I mean, the Dolphins does do some of the stuff that we saw the Chiefs do on Thursday.
Yeah,
you see Mike McDaniels utilizing like that cheat motion to create traffic for Tyreek and also for Jaden Waddle, the Penguin, the Cheetah and the Penguin, and try to combine those familiar tactics with a guy like Mahomes. It's going to give defensive coordinators nightmares, bro. Like, and that's what I love about it. He's just
Rice's
a unique talent.
Touchdown. Here's Rice's first.
A week ago, he's the back. Mahomes double clutch in traffic and caught on the run. Rasheed Rice through the secondary to the 42-yard line.
I said his first touchdown. It was his first down. I'm sorry. So,
yeah, man.
You see that, and you realize that game planning matters. All right, game planning matters. You saw the mismatches. You see the open middle of the field, and they're expecting Travis Kelce to be there all the time. So they were making sure they shadowed Kelce a lot that game, and that helped other people eat. Worthy and Rice. It helps everybody eat. It really does. And now it's just going to get more confusing.
Exactly. I mean, come on, man. Worthy, he's just that one-of-a-kind talent, bro. He's going to challenge opposing teams across the field, and his impact will likely increase. Now, think about this. Him and the other speed demon that we got, Hollywood Brown, if he returns, game over.
We just I'm interested in seeing what they're gonna do with three guys that can stretch the field, plus Travis Kelce down below. Like and don't forget, you still got a run game. Like you still got the run game. I'm ready to see it. Andy, bring it all out. Like don't leave nothing in the closet. Bring it all out. Street sweep the whole place.
Street sweep that mug, man, for real. All
Let's
right.
go.
So our next standout number 2, Leo Chenal, my guy. Oh my gosh, bro. So we all know the Chiefs let Willie Gay Jr. go in free agency because they saw potential in Chenal. And on Thursday, sorry, I got a text from my mom. That's where that ding comes from. If anybody heard that over the air. But anyway, on the Thursday night game, he dominated against the run. I mean, he showed more that he was just a rushing linebacker, especially with the athleticism. He played like an actual true 3-down NFL linebacker. He shadowed Lamar Jackson pretty much most of the night, and even was dominating Derrick Henry all game. And he ended the game with 7 tackles, including 1 for a loss. And he played a significant role in containing the Ravens. And if you remember on that last drive that the Ravens were trying to score on with that likely toe play, Chenal was hurt on that drive, but he came back in and he finished. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And, man, Chris Jones even gave him a lot of praise and praised him for his impact and his versatility. He said, bro, I love how he was able to do everything. He rushed from the 3 technique. He rushed from the edge. He was in his stance as a linebacker. He dominated in all those roles. I mean, what I saw out there, bro, he shows that strength in those blitzes and those stunts, despite he don't have as many sacks. But he also shows improved awareness in his coverage and is willing to challenge the short routes and everything. And very great run defender, man, especially how you saw him shadow Lamar Jackson. They gave Lamar hell. If you could show one of those plays from Leo where he was rushing him.
Yeah, I was just about to say, here's a play.
Yeah, look at Leo, man.
Number 54 for those that don't.
Look at this. Patiently, he's like, where you going, Lamar? Where you going?
Got him right there.
Man, look at that, bro. Like all night, man. And he toughed it out in the last part of the game, man. I mean,
notice where he is versus where Nick Bolton is. Like he's on
Yes.
the line right now. He's closer to the line. So you see the back, so he's disguising coverage here, which is beautifully done. Beautifully done.
And no, Bolton really did good, man. Fans is giving him
Yeah,
hell for that likely touchdown, but he really looked good in coverage all night. And there was even experts outside of Chiefs Kingdom that agreed too. They were like, man, y'all can say whatever y'all want about him allowing that touchdown, but despite that, he did great. But when you look at Chenal, man, he excelled at taking on the blockers directly and come out on top, man. He uses leverage and lower body strength to impact the outside, and he can move quickly to make tackles on the inside run plays, man. And there was like one play where where he was rushing Lamar and made Lamar uncomfortable. So, man, when you look at Chenal and basically what they saw last year or for the last 2 seasons before this upcoming year, I guess he's showing that, he's starting off strong in his 3rd season, showing the tools and the production to become a future key fixture for Spag's future plans.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm look. Sometimes when you draft guys, it's not about what they do in year one. Like it's nice to have those guys perform in year one because you're ahead of schedule. But at the end of the day, it's about production later on. It's about your growth while you're in the building, and that can sometimes be the reason why or why not guys get second contracts, because even though you may grow this year, it's got to be continuous growth. Like you can grow year 2, but if they feel like you hit a stalemate in year 3, that could be the reason why they don't keep a player or something like that. Like I noticed that the Chiefs are thinking 3 years, 4 years down the road. And that's what you want to do. And if you get in these guys who end up reaching their ceiling in year 3, that's a little bit, you got to think about it like that. And we're in year 2 with Chenal or 3?
Year 3.
This is year 3. We're playing in year 3 for Chenal because he won 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. I think Chenal has the potential to really make some noise this season.
Yeah. I really see it too, man. I mean,
like it'd be nice if they ended up using him like a 3 technique or just putting his hand in the dirt just because they can. Like if we're in a passing situation, we know we're in a passing situation and he can put his hand in the dirt. Come on now. It might be nice. But anyway.
And here's the thing too, right? This thing about this too, bro. You know who Leo Chenal, when I saw him on tape and what the Chiefs were trying to utilize him like, you know who he reminds me of? Especially after what you saw Thursday. He's like a better linebacker version of Bruce Irvin, who was part of the linebacker/DN for the Legion of Boom Seahawks. He was part of that team that was trying to go back-to-back, but, the Malcolm Butler play at the 1-yard line around the world. I don't know who still Russell. But
that's some heavy praise, bro.
Yeah, man. Like Bruce was a down linebacker in the zones, but then when it came to the most crucial 3rd down, he got his hand in the dirt, and that's what I see in Leo, man. I mean, he probably could still come out, but I really see Leo as more of a pure linebacker than Bruce was, in my personal opinion. That's just me.
I'm with that. So who's our last standout?
Last but not least, the man who made franchise history, MVP quarterback Patrick Mahomes. In Thursday's victory, Mahomes, like I said, completed 20 of 28 passes for 291, achieving a significant milestone. His 23-yard completion to Travis Kelce, which we're going to show in a second here in the second quarter, let Mahomes pass Pro Football Hall of Famer, the legendary late great Lenny the Cool Dawson, for the most passing yards in franchise history. It was just amazing, bro.
3rd and 12, deep drop Mahomes. Runs away to find space, fires on the run to Kelce to the 30-yard line. A perfect play for Patrick Mahomes to set the Chiefs record for most passing yards, passing the legendary Lenny Dawson.
Well, if you want to know how you win a bunch of championships, watch this. There's really nothing there. So he's going to have to buy time, find some way, and somehow, and I don't know how they do it, but Travis Kelce has this little way of getting lost. I wouldn't want to play tag with that guy because he all.
Man, did you see him
Bro
cross
was
over Brandon
all
Stevens?
Bro
A
was running
cornerback.
all over the place.
Bro, Kelce looked like he had a bat, like he could have a basketball in that mug, cross him like, yeah, come on. He broke dude's ankles. Oh my gosh, but still, there you go, folks.
The telepathy between Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce is amazing because seeing him run all over the place, I don't know how in the world Pat knew where to throw that ball because he was dipping and dodging. I was shocked.
Absolutely, bro. So with 28,715 passing yards in his young career, Mahomes holds the record for the most passing yards in 97 regular season games in NFL history. Rice, Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, even Justin Watson all had catches of 20-plus yards off of throws from Mahomes, showing that the offense is even better this year.
Look, man, we are, and that's saying all this. One person's still missing as far as the receiving core goes. Boy, this could be something special. We could be in the making to see something special. We could be, and I'm not even talking about from a field play standpoint. I'm not talking about from a performance-based standpoint. I'm talking about from a play calling standpoint. I'm wanting to see what Andy Reid really kind of has in store for these guys because there's some stuff I saw that was different from years past in this first game. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens moving forward with how Andy Reid calls plays, when we get behind those kind of plays and how he gets us back in the game, so forth and so on. It's going to be a nice season.
Oh, yeah, I agree, man. And I think we're going to see something special, man. And I feel like as long as Mahomes and Kelce still keep their connection, especially with the communication out there on the field, man. I'm not saying that there's issues now. I'm just saying just keep it going, man, because this is why I'm bringing this up. Kelce's performance, even though he had 3 catches for 31 yards, brought him close within 7 receptions, which he's close to surpassing Tony Gonzalez's record for the most catches in franchise history. He's also 3 TDs away from breaking Tony Gonzalez's team record of 76 touchdowns. And for Mahomes and Kelce, they currently have 51 touchdown connections, tying them for the 3rd all-time for the most quarterback tight end touchdown connections in NFL history, with 1 more. And I bet you Taylor Swift, who was there at the game on Thursday, also was at the U.S. Open with Pat, Britt, and also Trav. She probably whispered in her ear as I said that photo, as I posted on my Twitter. Hey, Pat, if you throw it to Kelce, you guys surpassed Jimmy Graham and Drew Brees for officially 3rd all time. 1 step closer to Gronk and Brady.
Man, that's gonna happen. That part's gonna happen. Like I just see it happening unless Trav. Nope, I'm not even gonna say it. I was gonna say something crazy, but I'm not gonna say it. I see that happening eventually. But either way, man, I think that their chemistry is so unreal. It's unreal. Them knowing where to be, how to be there, when to get there, it's just crazy. And he might not get 1,000 yards this season. He may get 1,000 yards this season, but either way, I think you still up for something super special in those two.
Yeah, so I just have a person in my apartment who's about to spray in, man. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, you good? You good?
I'm good. Oh, I thought my mic was muted or something, man.
No,
so anyway,
you good.
Yeah. So anyway, as we move on to our next segment, which is the final segment of today's show. So there were 3 other takeaways from last Thursday night's game and how it could help us to beat the Bengals. I've highlighted my 3 standout players from the game last Thursday, but in this situation, let's delve into 3 other crucial takeaways that I observed and why they will be vital in the upcoming matchup against the Bengals. So I'm going to start with, it starts with the cornerback play of the trio of Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, and Joshua Williams. The win on Thursday was thanks to the outstanding play of the defensive backfield, especially standout cornerback Trent McDuffie. The Chiefs used a lot of zone coverage against Baltimore, partly due to dealing with Lamar Jackson when he was about to take off a run. But they would probably likely switch back to a little bit of more press man coverage when they go up against Jamar Chase. And if he's healthy, T. Higgins. But according to the reports out of Cincinnati, it doesn't appear like it's going to be him. So who's the second option after Jamar Chase? Mike Gesicki. So Chase will try to avoid Trent McDuffie, just like he did in last season's Week 17 matchup. Whenever McDuffie lines up against Chase, he has limited him to just 5 catches out of 7 targets for 31 yards in those 3 matchups, including the AFC Championship game. Then we have our tall, reliable corners like Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams, who also dominated the game. And, of course, we all know Lamar's not known as a passer, but I feel like Lamar avoided throwing in their direction whenever they was on the field. And if they play a little closer to the line of scrimmage by being lined up in a little more press man coverage, this will make the receivers work hard to get off the line of scrimmage, and then that type of play will allow Justin Reed to be the aggressive tackler that he is and also do his work in the coverage game. So the Chiefs will have to be aware of where they line up, which emphasizes robust and effective communication among their defensive backs to prevent Chase or Gesicki from making a big play.
Let's look at the replay from last week of Jalen.
Yeah, man. Look at Jalen. Look at him.
Following
him the whole freaking time. Flowers, man.
Following them the whole time.
The whole entire time, bro. Further than that, bro. Like, come on, bro. Since week 9 of last season, you hear me out, Chiefs Kingdom? This man, number 35, who you saw just guard number 4, Zay Flowers, hasn't allowed a touchdown since week 9 of last season. And quarterbacks have generated a 60.4 passer rating when they throw his direction. That's elite cornerback numbers right there. And Watson's a former 7th round pick. Then also you got to look at this, how the Chiefs will deploy Williams in coverage against Chase or whoever's on that field, whether it's Charlie Jones or Irwin, who's the slot guy, and I forgot the player who number 80, but I think he might play a big role. But if they line him up against him, he needs to play his game, because there's another thing too. You thought I was impressed about the stats about Watson. Williams is just as impressive, and now with these numbers, now you can see why the Chiefs are going with the cornerback by committee, which I'm fine with. Joshua Williams, right. Joshua Williams led the NFL last season with the lowest catch rate allowed. That means if you're a quarterback, you should. If you see him not using his leverage against or knowing how to understand the leverage of the wide receiver, you could get him. He allowed the lowest catch rate, which is elite quarterback numbers, which is a 41.4. That's Darrelle Revis, Josh Norman like numbers. Sauce Gardner like numbers. And Joe Burrow has an 82.7 career passer rating when he targets Williams. And I wish I should have had that play where,
but go ahead.
Yeah, like I was going to mention, I wish we had that play from the AFC Championship game. Well, that was really Cook tipping the ball. But other than that, you got to have at least like above 85. Well, even if it's above 85, that's still not bad. As long as you have interceptions, that should be okay. But that's impressive. 82.7. That's below the average for a corner to be, say, he's a good corner, which is 85. And 82.7 against Joe Burrow, that's just dominant. So if he's healthy, Higgins, he complements Chase well, presenting problems for opposing secondaries. But Higgins appears that he probably ain't gonna play on Sunday, bro.
That's what it seems like.
Hamstring injury, sorry. But if he plays, it will be a big boost to, the Bengals offense,
Absolutely.
But will it be enough, though? With Chase purposely missing practice to get a new deal and Burrow still trying to get back to his old self since his injury last season. Will it be enough? I don't think so. What you think?
Look, man, Williams and Watson, those dudes, they might be underrated a little bit, but the production on the field don't lie. The production on the field does not lie. And while there's a lot, they're not shut down corners by any means, but they are really, really good at what they do. They know how to use their speed. They know how to use their size to their advantage. And in fact, that last play we saw reminded me a lot of he has his own show, Legion of Boom.
Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman. That's what
my guy, man.
That's what I saw when I saw that play there that we just showed. Because he's got those long arms. And even if he does get beat, as long as he can stay in the vicinity, those arms could take care of that ball and knock it down. So I was a little bummed earlier this season to notice that they didn't draft us a cornerback. I thought we needed one, but if they're gonna go with cornerback by committee, I'm fine with it, and I like the idea of being able to put mix and match based on your coverage looks. I like the idea of being able to mix and match based on your personnel looks. It throws offenses off because they both their strengths are in two different sets, so they can figure it out along the way. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. So. And I feel like this next key and takeaway could be a big reason why we can win the game. And we all know that even though the Chiefs generated a lot of pressure on Lamar Jackson, but we got to also take into account Lamar is that dual threat quarterback. But still, the way that they generated pressure, I thought I was impressed, especially with the strip sack by Chris Jones. But I think this will all lead to saying, and then when you saw that game with the Bengals going against the Patriots and saw the way that offensive line of the Bengals played, this leads me to say we got to make Joe Burrow uncomfortable, bro. We got to, because the Bengals offensive line still looks like they're the weakest link, especially on the offense. I mean, according to Pro Football Focus, Orlando Brown Jr., our old friend, Volson, I believe he's the left guard, and they've allowed a lot of quarterback pressures last season. Even Ted Karras, the center, allowed 6 sacks, tied for the second most among centers last season. And now newly acquired veteran right tackle Trent Brown was a liability in that game against the Patriots. I mean, allowing 4 quarterback pressures and gave up one sack to Patriots defensive lineman Keion White, who finished the game with 2.5 sacks on them. So the Patriots had 3 sacks, 4 quarterback hits against Burrow in week 1, limiting him to just 164 yards passing, no touchdowns, and an average of just 5.7 yards per pass attempt on 29 throws. Big Chris Jones, the CEO of Sack Nation, had a strong start last week, man, recording 6 quarterback pressures. And the strip sack on Lamar that was recovered by Felix and Udike Uzama. I got to give him credit for that, the great effort, and I hope he builds on that.
Definitely got to give it to him.
Absolutely, man. I hope he builds from that. George Karlaftis also matched Chris's performance with 6 pressures on Lamar as well. But this is the impressive thing why Karlaftis will be key too. Karlaftis has made 8 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, and has an impressive 22.5 pass rush win rate, according to Pro Football Focus, in the last 3 games, including the playoffs against the Bengals, including that AFC Championship game. A 22.5 is considered like elite for an edge rusher in the pass rush win rate. Normally, Carl
Moss in the backfield, chase the motion man. Burrow drops at the 32-yard line. Joe Burrow could not break away. Bentley, first man there.
Dang. Like, come on, man. Like, you did all of that. Orlando Brown Jr., Trent Brown, and all that, and y'all still getting that man hurt out there, man. Not good, Bengals. So the Chiefs' disruptive defensive line, which consistently applied pressure on Lamar that led to that late thrilling victory, putting more pressure on both Browns, OBJ, Trent, Bolson, Karras, and yes, Alex Cappa, because he also allowed that other sack, big-time sack that White got on Burrow. I feel like that could help slow down the Bengals' offensive game plan if we just focus on that.
This is one of those games where I think Spags can be as creative as he wants to be.
Yeah.
I do think that you might see a cornerback blitz on this game. I don't know from who, and I doubt it's going to be from Trent McDuffie. But I do want to. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that mix and match there. I would not be surprised in the least bit.
Shamari Connor,
good one, great one, or even a Justin Reed blitz.
Or Justin Reed.
No, so not a corner, but the safety blitz. But I see them mixing some things up, and I do see Chris Jones exploiting that offensive line. Just they don't have the continuity, and I know he's gonna find a way to get through there because he's got a vendetta against the Bengals, and we got to figure out a way, like you said, to make Joe Burrow uncomfortable. That's the primary goal here. Joe Burrow is still good, but him having that injury is going to limit him. It's going to make him second guess throws, second guess looks even. But the last thing we need is to make sure is to accidentally even get him and Chase in a momentum, in a rhythm. That's the last thing you need. So I'm interested to see how Spags goes about preventing that.
Yeah. And to say this too, man, I feel like this is what the Chiefs have done so well. And I feel like, and I saw it in the game last week, we are definitely the new Patriots. We're like the Patriots when they had Bill Belichick and Brady without the cheating, but that's for another conversation for another day. But they're chess masters. That's the one thing I will give them credit for. The Patriots were so good with Brady and Belichick, even though I say the stuff that I'm saying, I give them credit for being chess masters. They take advantage of a team's issues and take advantage at it. Like we got the Bengals. I mean, the offense struggled against the Patriots, possibly because former offensive coordinator Brian Callahan is now the new head coach for the Titans.
Yep.
Former quarterbacks coach Dan Pitcher is their new offensive coordinator. There was a lot of miscommunication that led to poor execution by the Bengals in the passing and run plays, and they looked out of rhythm. And I feel like Spags and Big Red are dialing up ways to attack them with that weakness.
They should be, and I do believe that will be the case on Sunday. But let me throw this out there. Doesn't mean that we'll win the game going away. I don't think this season is about like blowing teams out. No. I think this season is about just making sure we secure a win and keep the injuries minimal. That's what you always want. But I think the idea of blowing them out has never been an Andy Reid thing. But I think this one's more of that than normal, because the way you do things like that is you keep guys fresh by limiting reps. And if you can limit reps, if you can get up early, i.e. the Ravens game, if you can get up early and then just kind of offensively coast, you didn't see much of Andy Reid and his unique play calling late in that Baltimore game.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I'm not talking about taking your foot off the gas, because it always feels like he's taking his foot off the gas. But no, he's using his less unique plays to make sure that we can keep the motor. Like, you don't need to put premium gas in the car. The car runs just fine. But if we want extra performance, put the premium gas in there. It might not turn your car from a 10-second car to a 9-second car, but that little bit of extra performance matters. And so Sometimes you don't need premium gas. Don't put the premium in there. Don't put the premium in there. If you putting premium in gas in your car so you just get to work on time, no, that's not what it's for. And that's what I'm saying with this. I think that Andy Reid is putting a little extra on when he needs to, and the timeliness of it matters. Being timely matters.
Yeah. All right. And last but not least, my final takeaway that I feel like will be key into beating the Bengals on Sunday. Feed Kelce and Pacheco. Feed those guys, because to prevent Burrow and Chase from making plays, the easiest way is to keep them off the field as much as possible.
Absolutely.
This means the Chiefs must focus on long, sustained scoring drives on offense and creating turnovers on defense. Let's not leave points out there on the field. Offense, we're doing great. We're showing that we're better. Let's not leave points out there on the field, especially from the red zone. I don't want to keep seeing Harrison Butker going out there to make like 5 field goals a game, bro.
Yeah.
I'm bringing this up because the Bengals defense have had trouble stopping opposing running backs last season. They allowed 12 rushing touchdowns, tied for the 9th most among defenses facing opposing running backs. And much like offenses throughout the league, an efficient and effective run game opens up play action opportunities in the passing game, which can generate explosive plays through the air. In week 1, the Bengals allowed a total of 170 rushing yards against the Patriots, in which 120 of them came from Ramondre Stevenson. Pacheco, as we all remember when they last played the Bengals, had a standout performance, rushing for a career best 130 yards rushing and being effective as a receiver, catching the ball 5 times for 35 yards in that touchdown. I expect Pacheco to have a significant impact in this game, bro. I mean, he gained 78 yards from scrimmage and a rushing touchdown against the Ravens. Pacheco would also thrive in the lighter boxes and with room to work with in the shorting passing game this Sunday, especially if it's against Bengals linebacker number 55, Logan Wilson. And I'm going to tell you why. In the last 3 games, which was the Week 13, 2022, the AFC Championship game in 2022, and last year's game in Week 17, Pacheco has owned Wilson in the passing game. He's caught 5 passes for 79 yards and a touchdown. Like when the Chiefs were in that red zone, Mahomes with that touchdown, it was Wilson who was supposed to cover Pacheco, and he looked lost and confused or scared. But Pacheco averages like 15.8 yards per catch. That's Megatron Calvin Johnson receiver numbers. It's almost like when Wilson sees Pacheco, it's like, I'm going to face Calvin Johnson. He's about to be dominating me all game, and he won't go down. And ridiculously enough, after those 79 yards, do you not realize 92 of those yards are after the catch against Wilson? 79 of those are 92 yards after the catch. That's wild. So he's catching passes out of the backfield, and he owns Wilson. So watch out for that matchup. I think that might be really.
Mahomes will screen it with Pacheco. Reed Humphrey, the center, out blocking for him. Rolling over bodies, never had a knee or other body part down, and gets him the first down. You got to see to make sure that happens. He does have a timeout. He can challenge.
There's nothing to challenge. He was on the back. He was not down. He puts his hand on the ground, and he gets up. That is one unbelievable.
Just plays like that are good enough to. Pacheco always has his feet moving, so plays like that will be good enough to make sure that we win this game, because Pacheco, he's always gonna run hard, always. So
Always.
I'm definitely expecting a big game from him. And to be honest, I do expect a big game from Travis Kelce too, but I do think they're going to hone in on Travis Kelce pretty early to try to limit his effectiveness. So then that'll open it up for Rice in the middle of the field. And
Absolutely.
I do enjoy that, the idea of that. So I'm looking to see how they sprinkle in these pepper in these plays. So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. And in addition to targeting Kelce, that is a good option due to the Bengals' inconsistency. You thought the running back thing was something. The Bengals defense suck against tight ends, bro. Opposing tight ends. I'm telling you, last season, they allowed the most catches, 107. The second most receiving yards, 1,080 yards against opposing tight ends. The second most yards to tight ends. When the Chiefs pass, it will be necessary for Mahomes and Kelce to be on the same page and capitalize on explosive plays when those chances present themselves in the game. And also consider this, and if you Chiefs receivers are listening to the show, consider targeting, or Mahomes, consider going after slot cornerback number 21, Mike Hilton, because this man has allowed a 128.1 pass rating when Mahomes throws his direction in the last 3 games.
Burrowhead? You mean Mr. Burrowhead?
Mr. Burrowhead, yes. And we remember MVS capitalized on his size and speed over Hilton. So,
I mean, this is going to be a good game, even though it's week 2, which you don't see playoff implications right now. But it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a real good game. Is that all? I think that was the last point, correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, we thank everybody for listening, and we appreciate everybody's input and all that. We look forward to this game. The Chiefs came out with the win on Thursday, and a good win, and we look forward to seeing what they do on Sunday. You got any last points? Anything to close us out?
Man, I just want to mention, man, I've had a really interesting week, but the biggest one, that's a big one for me, was that recently, this past summer, I was actually starting last year, I worked with the University of Kansas, or how about this, Kansas University Center on Developmental Disabilities. As part of as I work with my group at the Self Advocate Coalition of Kansas. Hope you guys are watching. Hey, what's up? I work with the KU CDD to take part in writing a book that's to help educating teachers or educators before they work with students with intellectual developmental disabilities. And I took part in the book, and as of now, the book is out. And let's just say yours truly is a co-author now, man. I'm very proud that it took 33 years to tell my story as a Black man with autism, and also who represents not just a representation for my people, but also great human beings out there, especially folks in the disability rights community. And it's such an honor and a blessing, man. And it makes me to say that, lead me to say this, that I dedicate this episode to my father, the late, great Marvin Lee Magruder, who passed away on September 2nd, 2015 from Alzheimer's disease. September 10th would have been his 86th birthday. And I know he's smiling from the clouds right now. And right now, he would be saying, hey, son, let's go watch some cowboy movies. Let's watch Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood and enjoy some strawberry pop and, just enjoying it all, man. Because also, birthday's coming up. That's why that thing between me and him is so special, because, I guess there's something about September Virgos. My dad's a September Virgo, September 10th, me, September 22nd. It's a blessing, man. And, I give this shout out as well to my mama, my brother, and my sister. Without them, especially helping me through my journey alongside with my dad, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, especially be here with you, bro, and also deal with JP and Caleb and all the other members of the Chiefs Focus family, bro, for real. And I appreciate you all for listening to me and Thiz, and for you guys coming on another special episode, unique episode of The War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. And we will see y'all next week. Deuces.
Deuces.